Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Rob, and what I do is vlog about Android. So, today, well, first off, I just kind of want to show you guys my new little work area. As you see, I put some stuff up there. It's kind of, so it's not so plain with the white wall, but I think Monday, as I'm going out with my family to celebrate my birthday, I think we're going to pick up a lot of stuff, just kind of decorate my little work area and give you guys something to look at besides my ugly mug. But anyhow, this blog video is going to be about custom ROMs, and I kind of want to do this video because I don't see a lot of them out there. I mean, I do see a couple of people talking about them, but yeah, basically since my channel has gained its success based on me doing reviews of custom ROMs, I figured why not talk about it. So consider this your custom ROMs 101. What to know about them. And I'm going to go through them, so this is going to be kind of a long video, guys. But basically, a ROM, let's just start with that. A ROM is the software. So Android would be a ROM. Android is built by Google. When Google acquired Android, that became like their mobile OS preferred, that they had a vision of it being on just about every different type of smartphone from handset manufacturers out here, considerably HTC, Samsung, Kyocera, all them. And so, given that, that's what a ROM is. It's the software. So when you turn your phone on, from the boot screen to your home screens, your settings, all that, that is the ROM itself. Now, HTC, Samsung, LG, they kind of use what's called a skinned ROM. So you have Android and it has a skin over it. Kind of like, think about it like a cake. That's the best analogy I can give, guys. It's a cake. So Android would be the cake itself, okay? And everyone loves cake. Cake tastes good. Doesn't matter. So you would think like each version of Android would be each flavor of cake. So you got like your white cake, you got your yellow cake, you got your sponge cake, you got your chocolate cake, you got just all different types of cakes, and those would be like the different versions of Android, starting from alpha and beta, cupcake, donut, eclair, froyo, gingerbread, honeycomb, ice cream sandwich, jelly bean, Kit Kat, and now Android L. So those are all the different flavors, and yeah, so going with that, a skin would be like the frosting, or the frosting and decorations. That's what that would be. Because like if you take an HTC device and you take a Samsung device, one runs TouchWiz, one runs Sense. And Sense and TouchWiz can be identical as far as the features that they offer, but look totally different. And they probably operate totally different than what you're used to. That's why people tend to have their main brands they like to stick to, because they're already familiar and comfortable with it. So that's basically a ROM, is a whole cake itself. Android basically is so they're so behind their Android project that they just figure the cake by itself with no icing is good enough, and it is. It totally is. So what is a custom ROM? Exactly what the first word is: custom. It's customized. A developer such as yourself, because you too can be a developer to build custom ROMs, because Android is open source. They're not locked down like Microsoft is, or like Apple is. They're not locked down. They don't only leave it up to their team of developers to build, but Google's like, well, if you think you can build it better, build it and put it out there. Just as long as you don't claim the Android trademark name as your own, then you're safe. So you have a bunch of people who are either in their basement, their bedroom, or their attic, and they're just constantly working up on a ROM. And they can go with either way. They can skin it with TouchWiz, they can skin it with Sense, or LG skin, or Motorola's Blur skin, or whatever they want to call it. They can do all that. But the point, and the original point of a custom ROM, was basically to take a phone and basically bring it up to date, or give it features that it could run, and that would make the phone a lot better than what it normally is out of the box. Now, what set this trend off was the fact that the only Android devices that are even guaranteed multiple upgrades before they're cut off would be the Nexus line of phones. So Nexus phones and Nexus tablets, of course, are at least going to get 3 to 4 updates, depending. As a matter of fact, when KitKat came out, just about every Nexus device had gotten the update, including the Galaxy Nexus, which had a hard time because it had a TIL map processor from Texas Instruments, and that put up a wall. But, you know, thank your everyday at-home, in the dark developers, because they found a way to update that phone, even though it didn't have your Snapdragon processor or none of that stuff. So, good, you know, big ups to all the developers out there. But that's what the intent was. It was to be able to take something like, say, for example, the Moto G2. Now the G2 runs Gingerbread. It was running Froyo, it got updated to Gingerbread, and it's pretty much on Gingerbread. And I thought there was something in here. It's the SD card tray is loose. But yeah, so you can Google it, or you can go on YouTube and look, but there's actually videos of people who actually put KitKat on this phone, and it runs flawlessly. So that's the point of having a custom ROM, is to bring a phone like that would not technically get the update to KitKat because it's such an older device, to be able to bring it up, because some people just don't want to buy a new phone. Maybe they love their G2s. So that's the point of it. Now, here's where it gets a little bit weird. The other reason that custom ROMs were also built was to kind of bring features that, you know, at the time weren't available when a certain phone was built, but is available now and would work flawlessly on it. Like, take for instance, for reference, my Samsung Galaxy S2 Epic 4G Touch. This is a badass phone. I'll tell anyone that, no matter what. Hands down, is a pretty badass phone. Back in the day when this came out, this had super high specs. We're talking, you know, 8 megapixel camera. I mean, back in the day, standard was like 5 megapixels, or 3.2 megapixels. So this had an 8 and a 2 megapixel front-facing camera, which worked great. It was awesome. And one thing that this phone did not have was multi-window, or multi-window, however you guys want to pronounce it. And with multi-window, it allows you to run 2 apps at the same time. So if you wanted to be on Google Plus and Twitter at the same time, you know, just being, you know, social network junkie, you could have both of them up, and you could be typing your update for Google Plus up here, Twitter down here. You can switch it and reverse it, where Twitter was on top and Google Plus was on the bottom, but you had 2 applications running simultaneously. And that feature came out with the Galaxy S4, I believe, and that's 2 generations after the Galaxy S2. But, of course, developers figured it would work flawlessly on this device, so they found a way to port that feature over in a custom ROM for this phone. And then now, if you download Showstock 3 for the Galaxy S2 Epic 4G Touch and you run that, you have the multi-window feature, and you can just run it. You can run 2 apps at the same time. And that's another reason why custom ROMs was built, was to kind of port over features that came with newer flagship devices to, you know, a generation or 2 generation old flagship of the same line. So, with that being said, there's also different features that's given in. Of course, there's overclocking of your processor to make your processor work more than what it was clocked at to do. Also, there's ways to save battery, like certain phones that had really crappy battery would get better battery life just by having a few tweaks done in the settings of the ROM itself. So that's always great, and people are like, well, that's awesome. You know, everyone should do it. It just depends. It depends on the user, and that's the one thing I tell people about when they're like, well, what phone should I get? What type of device should I get? And it's like, it depends on you and what type of user you are. Like, my fiance has the LG Volt, and the reason why, you know, she picked the LG Volt and I got it for her for her birthday was because it had a 3,000 milliamp hour battery. It's a 4.7-inch display, light spec, basically spec'd as a mid-tier Android device, which means it's not like a flagship like your HTC One M8s or your Galaxy S5s or none of those. Okay, so it's spec'd small, you know, 1 gig of RAM, 8 gigs of ROM, and that's what it has. So very light, but it had a 3,000 milliamp hour battery, something like a Galaxy Note 3 would have. And that's why it went perfect with her, because she can kill out a battery. You know, it's not being negative about it, but she can. You know, she is the one person that I use to basically test Android devices to see exactly how well they perform by letting her use it. She's a great help because she's an everyday user. She's, you know, she's not a tech nerdy like me, but she uses a hell out of a smartphone, and she'll tell me if it has good battery life, bad battery life, if it's, you know, if it you know, gets like stuttery or whatever. She'll tell me, and you know, I trust it. Everybody's just hitting me up. Bling, see everyone. Okay, my buddy Alex is coming over. So, anyways, the biggest thing that I get with people is when they should put a custom ROM on and when they shouldn't. And that's where it becomes an issue. Sorry guys, I'm getting messages, but I'm not going to stop this video. But anyways, that's where it becomes an issue. Because there are a couple of people that I know that just every device they get, they want to flash a custom ROM. They've got to have CyanogenMod on it. They don't really have a good reason why they got to have CyanogenMod on it. They just want to have CyanogenMod on it. And right there, you really have to be careful because, you know, always wanting a custom ROM on your device will affect how it works. It'll affect how it runs. And especially when you're flashing your phone a lot, you're actually killing your battery at the same time because that battery has to jolt at, you know, a lot more volts, a lot more amps just to push a software into the drive itself. Because think about it, you're not really like having it connected to your charger. And it's not like your charger is going to do it for you to actually power what it needs to flash. Your battery's the one that's doing it. So you're actually overworking your battery cells. And eventually that's when people are like, oh my god, I used to get like 23 hours on this battery. Now I can only get 6. Well, if you're constantly flashing, you're actually burning the hell out of the battery cells in your battery. And of course it makes sense. You can actually easily fix that by just buying a brand new battery from either the manufacturer, or if you trust Amazon or Craigslist or eBay, then you're good. But it's also just really, it's the intent of why you want to put a custom ROM on there. Is it really that important that you have CyanogenMod? Does the phone work the way you would want it to work before you would put a custom ROM on it? Those are things you really should ask yourself before flashing anything, you know, because you're taking a huge risk. There are ways to bounce back from a brick. Now, definition of a brick, basically what you would think of if you're building a brick wall. That would be what your phone is. When you brick your phone, it's basically just a slang term for break it. Brick basically means that it's going to be what it's good for, paperweight. One example of a brick device, and I don't have it here with me, but the LG Optimus slider is bricked, and I have to wait till I can get all the things that I need so I can unbrick it. Because there is ways to bounce back from a hard brick. Because there are 2 types of bricks. There's hard and soft. Soft brick is like when it's boot looping, you know, like it keeps going back to the boot up screen and won't boot up the operating system. That's a soft brick. That's easy. Easy to come back from. And all you gotta do basically is go to XDA and just figure it out for your specific device. What do you need to do? Do you have to go into your recovery and just completely format the whole thing and reinstall the software? Or maybe there's a software that you can use from your handset manufacturer, like an RUU, which is for HTC Sense, or Odin, which is used for Samsung. I mean, there's ways to come out of soft bricks. Hard bricks are a little bit different. That's where you can't even get to a boot screen. It's like nothing but black. The screen is just black. Doesn't matter. You power it on, it's black. Or it's white, or whatever color it decides to like kick out. But it's not registering boot up screen, nothing. And there's ways to bounce back from that. Obviously, guys like Max Lee have shown people how to do it. So, but it, you know, it's a lot of extra spending and a lot of stuff where it can be simply avoided if you just, you know, either know the reasons why you're going to put a custom ROM on there and definitely make sure that it is compatible for your device. And I would say to anyone out there, like, there's a couple of people that are like, you know, you haven't really done custom ROM reviews, are you over it or whatever? And I'll honestly say, yeah, I am. I'm over it, you know. I don't feel like every device I have should need to have a custom ROM on it. It's great to flash them. It's great, you know, to just mess around with them. You know, but I do it with, you know, I mean, look how many phones I got, okay? I can mess around with other, you know, all my other phones. My daily driver, is it rooted? No. Is it, you know, on a custom ROM? No, I haven't. I haven't done anything to my Kyocera Hydra Icon except throw it in water and throw it out of my pocket. Just to test its durability and its water resistance. So, And my Desire 601, now that it's not my daily driver, I'm going to do some root methods with it, and to flash insert coin, which is a ROM that was built for it. And yeah, we'll go from there. But other than that, it's not my daily driver anymore. So if I hard brick it, and I can bounce it back out of it, you know, it's not a big deal. I'm not going to lose out with anyone text messaging me or calling me. So in conclusion to this video, which took up a lot of your time today, guys, I just want to basically say that if you're going to choose custom ROMs for your device or whatever, basically think about the reasons you're going to do it. And, you know, if everything adds up to yes, go ahead and flash it, well then be safe when you flash it. And the biggest message is that before you flash a custom ROM, when you put, like when you root your phone and you put a custom recovery on it so you can then flash a ROM, make a backup. That could save you from a lot of headaches. Make a full backup so you have a backup to go to in case that ROM was not meant for your phone or there was bugs. You can bounce back from it. So anyways, guys, yeah, this is a huge video, 15 minutes long, whatever. And so I'm going to cut it out now, but thanks for watching if you took the time to watch the whole thing. And thank you to all my new subscribers, and for you guys on Social Cam. If you guys find this video pretty cool, please comment in the comment section of both here and on YouTube if you guys are YouTubers watching, and like the video if you guys liked it, and subscribe or follow me if you guys want to see more content. And leave me a comment of what I should, like, what kind of posters I should put up here. I'm thinking about putting movie posters up here. So maybe you guys can give me some ideas of what kind of movies I should put up there. But I'm a huge Marvel fan, huge Sonic the Hedgehog fan. So go nuts in the comment section. Tell me what you guys think. Aloha. Thanks for watching. You guys have a great week.